Glaciers are like giant, slow-moving rivers made of ice. Imagine snow falling year after year in very cold places, high up in the mountains or near the Earth's poles. This snow doesn't melt away in the summer. Instead, it piles up, getting heavier and heavier. Over many, many years, the weight of the new snow on top squeezes the old snow underneath, turning it into dense, solid ice. This immense river of ice then begins to slide very slowly down the mountain or across the land, carving out valleys and shaping the world as it goes. They are magnificent natural wonders, holding stories of our planet's past within their frozen layers. These icy giants are incredibly important for life on Earth. They act as the planet's freshwater savings account. In fact, glaciers and ice sheets store about 70% of all the fresh water in the world. During the warm summer months, some of the ice melts and flows down into rivers. This meltwater provides a steady supply of fresh water for countless people who need it for drinking and for watering their crops. It also helps to generate electricity in many places through hydropower. For animals and plants, this cool, clean water is essential, creating unique habitats that depend on the cold flow from the mountains above. For thousands of years, glaciers have followed a natural rhythm of advancing in the winter and retreating a little in the summer. This balance has kept our planet's systems stable. The bright white surface of a glacier is also like a giant mirror. It reflects the sun's heat back into space, which helps to keep our whole planet cool. This cooling effect is vital for maintaining the climate that we and all other living creatures are used to. These frozen rivers are not just beautiful landscapes. They are a critical part of the Earth's life support system, working quietly to regulate our world's temperature and water supply. When we look at a glacier, we are looking at time itself, frozen and preserved. Scientists can drill deep into the ice and pull out long cylinders called ice cores. These cores contain trapped air bubbles and dust from thousands of years ago. By studying them, we can learn what the Earth's climate was like long before humans started keeping records. Glaciers are therefore not only a source of water and a climate regulator, but also a precious library of our planet's history. They tell us about past ice ages, volcanic eruptions, and changes in our atmosphere, offering clues to the story of our world. Something alarming is happening to our planet's beautiful rivers of ice. They are melting, and they are melting faster than at any time in recorded history. For 37 years in a row, the world's glaciers have been losing more ice than they have gained. The main reason for this rapid meltdown is that our world is getting warmer. The heat is causing the ice to melt at a truly astonishing rate. The years between 2022 and 2024 saw the largest amount of glacier ice loss ever recorded. It is as if these ancient giants, which have been here for millennia, are now shrinking before our very eyes, unable to withstand the rising temperatures. The numbers are quite staggering and can be difficult to fully comprehend. Since 1975, the world's glaciers have lost over 9,000 billion tons of ice. To put that into perspective, the amount of ice lost in just one recent year, 2023, was enough to raise the level of the entire world's oceans by 1.5 millimeters. This may not sound like much, but when you consider the vastness of the oceans, it represents an immense volume of water. We are now witnessing a great acceleration in this process, with nearly half of all the glacier ice lost since the 1970s disappearing in just the last 10 years. This accelerated melting is not just happening on the surface. New scientific research has unveiled a hidden process that is speeding things up. As glaciers melt, fresh water seeps down and flows out from underneath the glacier where it meets the ocean. Because this fresh water is lighter than the salty ocean water, it rushes upwards along the submerged face of the glacier. This creates turbulent, swirling currents that eat away at the ice from below, causing it to melt much faster than it would from the warm air alone. It is a powerful and hidden force that is contributing to the rapid retreat of these icy titans. The story of the South Cascade Glacier in the United States is a clear example of this global trend. It has been studied by scientists for over 70 years, giving us one of the longest continuous records of a glacier's health. Sadly, its story is one of steady decline. Like so many others around the world, from the Alps in Europe to the Himalayas in Asia, it is losing its battle against the warming climate. The synchronous retreat of glaciers all over the globe since the middle of the 20th century is something that has not been seen for at least the last 2,000 years, signaling a profound change in our planet's system. The consequences of melting glaciers are far-reaching, affecting both nature and people across the globe. One of the most immediate impacts is on water security. Hundreds of millions of people, particularly in Asia and South America, depend on the seasonal meltwater from glaciers for their daily needs. This water fills their rivers during the dry seasons, providing a reliable source for drinking, farming, and industry. As the glaciers shrink, this dependable water supply is put at risk. At first, the melting might increase river flows, but eventually, as the glacier disappears, the rivers will dwindle, leading to serious water shortages for vast populations. Another major consequence is the rise in sea levels. As we have seen, the meltwater from glaciers flows into the oceans, causing them to expand and rise. After the warming of the ocean itself, melting glaciers are the second largest contributor to this global rise. Even a small increase in sea level can have a huge impact on coastal communities. It leads to more frequent and severe flooding, especially during storms. It is estimated that for every millimeter the sea level rises, hundreds of thousands more people are exposed to the risk of annual coastal flooding, threatening homes, infrastructure, and entire ways of life. The loss of glaciers also creates new and dangerous natural hazards in mountain regions. As a glacier melts, it can leave behind large lakes of meltwater, often dammed by unstable walls of ice or loose rock and debris called moraines. These natural dams can fail without warning, releasing a catastrophic torrent of water, mud, and boulders down the valley. These events, known as glacial lake outburst floods, can destroy entire villages, bridges, and farmland in their path. The risk of these devastating floods increases as the glaciers continue to retreat, and the meltwater lakes grow larger and more numerous. Beyond the direct impact on humans, the disappearance of glaciers profoundly affects ecosystems. The unique environments that depend on the cold, steady flow of meltwater are changing. Fish species that are adapted to cold mountain streams may not survive in warmer waters. The changing landscape also impacts local economies that rely on the beauty of these icy landmarks. Tourism centered around glaciers, such as skiing or sightseeing, is threatened. The transformation of a landscape from a vibrant, ice-covered valley to bare rock is a stark and visible symbol of a world undergoing a rapid and unsettling transformation. To understand what is happening, dedicated scientists are working in some of the most remote and challenging places on Earth. They are like detectives gathering clues to solve the mystery of the melting ice. Using research ships, robotic submarines, and flying drones, they map the hidden underwater faces of glaciers and measure the temperature and saltiness of the surrounding ocean. They climb the high mountains to drill ice cores and measure the snow depth, tracking the glacier's mass balance, the difference between the snow it gains and the ice it loses. This tireless work gives us the vital data we need to understand the speed and scale of the changes taking place. The message from the ice is so clear and so urgent that the world is beginning to take notice. In recognition of this crisis, the United Nations has designated 2025 as the International Year of Glaciers Preservation. This is a global effort to raise awareness and to highlight the critical importance of these frozen reservoirs. The very first World Day for Glaciers will be marked on March 21, 2025, bringing leaders and experts together to discuss the problem. The goal is to make sure that everyone, from schoolchildren to world leaders, understands what we are losing and why it matters so much to our shared future on this planet. Protecting our planet's glaciers is one of the greatest challenges of our time. The primary cause of their rapid melt is the warming of our planet, driven by human activities. Therefore, the most important action we can take is to reduce the emissions that are causing our climate to change. This means shifting to cleaner forms of energy, using energy more wisely, and protecting our forests. It is a monumental task that requires cooperation from every country, community, and individual. By working together, we can slow the rate of warming and give these magnificent rivers of ice a chance to survive. The fate of the glaciers is ultimately in our hands. They are a powerful symbol of the delicate balance of our planet's climate. Their silent retreat is a warning that we must heed. By learning about them, by caring for them, and by taking action to protect our climate, we are not just saving rivers of ice. We are protecting our planet's water supply, our coastal cities, and the beautiful, diverse web of life that depends on a stable and healthy world. The glaciers are sending us a message. And now, more than ever, with the current administration's take on climate change and climate science in general. Now is the time for all of us to listen and to act, for their future and for ours. Please like, comment, and subscribe for more. Thanks for watching.